Welcome into the Game Plan, presented by the Salisbury University Seagulls in support of alumnus Dan Quinn.
Welcome into the Game Plan with head coach Dan Quinn, Logan Paulsen. I'm your host, Bryan Colbert Jr. And we are here in the Big Bear AI Command Center studio. Coach, to start things off, it's no secret that we've been banged up with injuries. How are you getting guys through that, especially the guys that have never really dealt with this level of adversity at this point in the season?
Yeah, for sure. That's a big deal. And on the field, you miss some of the continuity, the reps together and that. Then off the field, you're just trying to make sure, mindset, attitude, how to play style, that we've got to nail that. And as we're heading here for a good stretch of November football, a good NFC showdown, we've got to make sure that part, Brian, that's at the top of the list. The attitude, the play style, the physicality, that has to show up no matter where, who's in, how to do it. But the continuity, that's the part. If you have to trim things down to make sure you can really execute, that's really what you have to go do.
Coach, when we were in Atlanta, you used to do developmental days for the practice squad guys. Is that still part of the curriculum to kind of make sure you're helping those guys who maybe don't get all the reps
come
along?
And so that takes place on Wednesdays and Thursdays. And it pays off because you don't know when that moment's going to come. On the practice squad, man, you pray that these injuries don't happen. You want the person on the practice squad going up because we can't deny this guy anymore.
Sure.
He is kicking ass in practice and find his way. But we also know in the game the injuries happen. And you don't know when your number is going to be called. But to get to that spot, man, you got to train. Man, you got to show you're ready. And you do that in practice. And then when the moment comes, okay, Ryan, he's ready. We can trust him. We can put him in. He's going to, this is the role we'd play him in. And now you can set the course. Doesn't have to do every play. But these are the things that we know he can nail every time.
And somebody that you've seen that we've learned that we can trust is a guy, Marcus Mariota, who will be starting in place of Jaden Daniels. How beneficial is that? To have a guy that you can plug in and not really lose a step because he is so aware of how this offense works.
Yeah, right from the end of last season when you talked about free agency, where was the top? Marcus. And he brings a lot on the field, this opportunity to go play, brings things off the field, but he has command, he's got knowledge, he's got the experience to go. He's a hell of a competitor. So, yeah, if tough moments like that happen, he's the type of guy you want to lean into and say, okay, now go do it. And he is more than equipped and ready to get down.
And you guys have done such a good job building a really diverse kind of ecosystem for the quarterback. How does Josh Johnson maybe fit in that and supporting Marcus in his time as a starter?
Yeah, I think he's seen so many things, and that's what's a good thing. It's honestly one of the best parts about him.
How much he's seen everything, right?
And so as a coach, you can go to, what are you seeing?
Yeah, right.
What does your lens look on this? And now to have support for Marcus in game, what are you seeing? And as the quarterback, what a good feeling that is, knowing one of my guys is looking, watching, seeing it from the lens of the helmet, and that's a big deal. And so, yeah, it's really valuable.
And Coach, when you look at Detroit's defense, aggressive, downhill, and we know this game is important for everybody, but how much more important is it for our offensive line to step up against a defense like this? Yeah,
it's a big deal, and it's one of the best parts of our offense. And so the offensive line being able to impose their will, the run game, the play passes, those have to mix. But those finishing the blocks, second level, clamping onto somebody, kick out blocks, running through the contact, not to it, and that allows us to go finish. So that's what we're calling on, from our offensive line this week for sure. Once that gets going, Brian, as you know, then some of the play passes to go. If you're going to be that aggressive, you got to be both ways aggressive on offense, running it, play passing, back and forth, back and forth.
And everyone thinks offensive line is running the football, but I think of them as protections, right? One of the ways to help receivers get open is protect. Let's make sure we get this targeted. How important is that process this week and kind of building that continuity with that group? Yeah,
and so with Sam being back now for a few games, that's a big deal. It really starts with the center, quarterback, the running backs, because they set so much of it, Logan. So they meet, in the evenings to go through, what's this look? What would we call here? So think of the centers and the quarterbacks and the running backs. Those guys have to be on the same page. Now we know who's hot, where do we want to take the slide to. So it's a really big piece of playing good offense.
And Coach, when you watch the film on Detroit's defense, they send a lot of man coverage. How can our offense exploit that?
Yeah, when you play man, then there's opportunities, for playmakers to go make some plays to go do that. And so it's not all downfield. Sometimes you think, well, play man-to-man, throw the bomb, go deep, well, that's part of it. Yeah, so that's why I said it. But there's also a lot of things that make playing man difficult. And oftentimes those are crossing routes and things to, disrupt how that would look. And so having the balance between man, zone. Sometimes you come to the line with two different plays, one against man, one against zone. And when you can get into that kind of rhythm, then you can really put on the best play for that moment. And that's what we'll dig into.
And I think it's cool you said like the two-play thing, because like, you're watching the Minnesota tape and, J.J. McCarthy's up checking to his screen.
Yes.
And Marcus has got the ability to do that. So I'm sure it gives you a ton of flexibility in the offense.
Yeah, for sure it does. And, whether that's a screen that goes to a big one, there was a shot to Terry in the Kansas City game.
That's right.
That was a zero blitz to say, okay, the play that we had isn't as effective against this. What's the next best option? How to go through that? And so having those kind of checks, and as coaches, you call those answers. What are answers to solve problems for the players? And if you can provide those and see the look, now you can allow players to play more quickly. Yeah, this is the look. This is what we're going to go to. You have to practice it. And so for the team, having all the practices this week, live looks, different looks, that's a big deal.
And Coach, we started the show talking about the losses on this team due to injury. And when you look at our defense, Marshawn Lattimore, that leaves a big void. How do you fill that void and make up for his absence?
Yeah, we're bummed. And, with
me
Marshawn, like he's such a good competitor. And him and Luke, these are two like hardcore competitive guys, man. They love to compete. It just shows on their tape and the way they want to strain and fight for it. We're fortunate Jonathan Jones being back off IR just, a few weeks now. Lots of experience, both outside and inside. And so those are the moments that, John is here to be able to deliver and why he's here. And we're certain that he'll do that. But it's definitely a big loss. Same with Luke. And these guys, some get injured and it's for a shorter period. And all right, they're going to get back. They're going to get back. When it's for the season ending, man, your heart goes out to them, knowing how much they sacrifice, how much they put into it. And we know that's part of it, but it still sucks. And so for the ball player, for the team, but mostly as a player, this is their space and their time, and they love to compete. And so when you don't get to, man, that leaves a void, and it's hard.
And so for Marshawn specifically, I doubt it's just one-to-one replacement. I'm sure it's like an aggregate of people, kind of mixing in where they get in. Like, is that how you're going to handle it, or is it he's going to take all those reps?
No, it'll be some of mixing around as we'll go. We're not going to give all the game plan away here on the game plan.
No, I mean, but, no one wants that, Coach. I'm just saying, but just like general,
Logan pulled a me this time.
Yeah, he did.
Just a general big picture, high level,
But you're right, though, that we're still balancing that.
Sure.
And that may take more than one game to find that rhythm of what's the best place to go. And as a team, collectively, we've got to make sure identity right all the way through. And we've been off, and we need to capture it, and we need to capture it now.
Early in the week on Command Center, Logan and Santana talked about all of these offensive playmakers that they have for Detroit. How do you slow an offense like this down that can hit you in so many different ways?
Well, I think there's a lot of speed, first off, and so that part, how do you negate being on top, certain routes, and the great equalizer is the inside pressure, and so those are sometimes the game within the game. It's the Kinlaw and Paynes on the inside of that pocket to move it, and so sometimes pass rush isn't about the sack. Can I get pressure? Can I get up in the quarterback's face? Can I make him disrupt and not have the same timing? So that's a big piece of it, to make sure timing gets disrupted, disguises of coverage. Now a play action pass when the quarterback looks one way and he comes back, it looks differently, and we'll have to get the ball out, Brian. That's a big piece for us.
I'm glad you brought up the pressure element too, because they're a little bit banged up on the offensive line. Like, how important is it that those guys kind of come with their best effort again to insulate that group in the back end?
Yeah, and every game there's some matchups within. It's okay. Hey man, this is why you're here. Right? This is you, and ready for that challenge. How to go take it. You want players right now to play like their backs are against the wall, think like it, but not overreact to plays and try to make things that aren't there. And so that takes a lot of discipline, Logan, to stay in it, do my thing.
Yeah.
Don't try, we need to go make this play over here, and I need to do this job here. And so the more we can do that collectively, winning those matchups when it comes, whether it was a wide receiver against a man-to-man that we were talking about earlier, or the inside of the offensive and defensive line where those matchups are. That's what makes the game awesome. All these little different matchups, and how do you go? And every single week it's different.
And Coach, in closing, we've talked about it all week that Detroit wants to get their get back right after us beating them in the divisional round. This is a new season, though. Is there anything you can take away from that win, even though it was in the playoffs, even though it was last year's? Anything you can take away that you're using in this week's game plan for tonight's game?
I'd say all the hype for them to go against us, all of our focus is on us, you know, and how do we improve? And so that's the only thing that's on our mind. Like battling, competing, you know, that's all part of it. But in between the white lines, about that execution. And all the emotion you know, not going to come into how we're going to do this matchup. And so we've got to play like we're capable of at our best. They're an excellent team, but last year's game, it doesn't have nothing to do with this year's game. Like it's about right now and who wants to get down the most.
Always locked in on the now, Coach. We appreciate you. We'll talk to you in a little bit, but it's time for you and Logan to get into the film study.
All right.
Always great getting to catch up with Coach and Logan. We'll get to hear from them a little later in film study. But first, it's time for our Prime Player, brought to you by DC Prime, Loudon's premier steakhouse. For dinner reservations or private dining, call 703-840-2099. And our Prime Player is a member of our running back by committee, Chris Rodriguez. Feels like each week his number is called, he is able to show up and show out. And C-Rod led the team in carries and yards with 12 carries and 65 yards and a touchdown. It feels like C-Rod is always making the most of every opportunity he was given, and it was great to see him shine on prime time. Can't wait to see what else he can do this season for the Burgundy and Gold. Now coming up, you won't want to miss this. Coach and Logan head into film study to break down some of Marcus Mariota's highlights. And later on, Logan, Coach, and I will count down a kickoff. We'll be right back with more of the game plan after this break.
The Game Plan is presented by the Salisbury University Seagulls in support of alumnus Dan Quinn. And by the Maryland Lottery Fast Play Games. Play fast, win fast today. Please play responsibly.
Welcome back into the Game Plan. Now this week we honored wide receiver Art Monk. On Sunday at halftime of the Seahawks vs. Commanders game, the Commanders hung Monk's number 81 jersey into the Raptors as just the sixth player in the team's 93-year history to have his jersey retired. What a career and what a legend Art Monk was. Now let's take a look at some of his winning numbers, brought to you by Maryland Lottery. Please play responsibly. And those winning numbers are one of legend. 940 receptions, over 12,700 yards, 68 touchdowns, and a three-time Super Bowl champion. Now, number 81 had many impressive career milestones, but he changed the game when he became the first receiver to have a season with 100-plus receptions in a single season in 1984. Big shout out to our guy, Art Monk, on this incredible honor. Now it's time to hear from Logan and Coach. It's time for the film study sponsored by the Salisbury University Seagulls in support of alumnus Dan Quinn. Take it away, Coach and Logan.
Coach, man, obviously we're all bummed that Jaden's out, but it's awesome that Marcus Mariota has all this experience to bring to the position, and I thought I'd throw together some clips so we could talk about how he's done this so far this year.
That sounds like a deal, man. Let's hit it.
So this one I love, right, because it's to the tight end, obviously, so we're going to run a little pylon, little sail to the flat, and Marcus does a really good job kind of letting this distribute, but also kind of managing the pressure. And again, you see his relationship with Zach here, who's so savvy, sitting down in this window here. Love to see that, but understanding the timing, understanding the coverage, and how to get the ball out.
Yeah, I think you said the first thing first, like the poise when pressure's coming.
Yeah.
Trusting the protection, knowing running back's got the blitzer that's going to come. He has the time. The route's not there yet, but he knows how this is going to play, trusting the protection, and now delivering the ball down the field. You know, like when you're playing a zone pressure, where is this, soft spot that he's going to get? And he delivers a great ball to Zach.
Yeah, and this is some type of cover 3 deep variation. And again, just the patience to kind of wait, buy time, let this guy distribute just enough, right?
That's right.
That doesn't come from one rep. That comes from hundreds of reps. And so
Yes.
to see that execution is fantastic.
Yep.
So obviously he can throw the football and does it at a high level. The other thing, I got to talk to him, man, because his ball handling on the zone read, the RPO, or zone read and RPO is great. And so he's going to read this player here, and he just puts the defensive end in such conflict because the ball is in the belly of the back for so long. He's got to declare and just does a great job with it.
Say, Marcus knows more about this technique than most people know about anything. It's like, this is part of why he was a Heisman Trophy winner.
Yeah, I mean, look at this
the ball
defensive end.
handling, the attacking, where does he put his eyes, who is he really reading, and how is he going to go attack that player? And so there is a level of excellence that goes along with him on the read option plays, and he is at the very top of the list.
I love you said that because, versus I think the Dallas Cowboys, for example, they run like a little scrape.
Yes.
He knows exactly where he's looking. It's a high. Every time he does this, it's like a work of art. It's really cool.
It's not just is the DN closing. It's no, where is he looking? Can I beat him to the edge anyway?
Right.
It makes it really difficult. And I like the design here. It's unbalanced.
Yeah.
To put more stress. Most often runs go to the unbalanced side. So putting guys into the backfield with unbalance, with him on an option to a side. It's a good design, and then obviously getting angles, optioning off of people, send it downfield, getting blocks, just a cool play.
Love it. And then again, like, you were just telling me he's 32 years old. He's got a little bit of gas in the tank still, right?
Yeah, he's got good legs, man, and he's a great competitor. So plays like that, not every play is the same for every player, but these are some similar plays for him that he is excellent at.
Yeah, and then the other one, Coach, is like the RPO, which is like this run-pass option people talk about all the time. This is a great design here. Going to pull the tackle, going to run like a little bit of like what I would call a drift, the old Kyle Shanahan special there.
Yep.
And the timing, the vision, and understanding who he's reading. Again, you talk about all the time, or on the last clip, just understanding this kind of pull on the linebackers here and the window that it creates behind is just, again, it speaks to his studiousness and his understanding of the offense.
Yeah, there's a lot going on here. There's a bubble to one side. There's an RPO to one other side. And where is the linebacker in relation to the run? Can he throw the drift behind him on the play pass? So things like that take reps.
Yeah.
And this is some of the things. Then the ball coming out quickly, obviously, to get another first down, to move the chains. And so this is an example. Playing fast doesn't always mean like getting on the ball, no huddle. Playing fast it's an attitude.
Interesting. Yeah.
And so this is playing fast.
Yeah, like just a quick decision, you're saying.
Correct.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, I didn't think of it that way. But yeah, I love that. The sharp execution is great. And then this is kind of to your point too, just executing at a high level, being sharp. We're going to get a little bit of edge pressure here on the bottom of the screen, and we're going to get 4 verts. We're going to get this, or not 4 verts, but kind of 4 to his side, and then we're going to get a free runner to the quarterback. And it's cool to watch him understand that this is going to be open over here, and just be patient, buy a little time in the pocket, and just when you got to make a play, make a play.
Yep, and when you have tight ends that can run, and obviously it opens up here with Yank and Zach going to hit it, like these look like receivers coming out to go. When you get 3 tight end sets together, sometimes the calls change, and then again, on the play action, on the, loop coming back all the way across with 4 strong, it just makes things difficult to match and come back. So these are the type of play designs that you can be aggressive, knowing where you want to go take your shot, and there's another cool play.
And you can see the lack, like just this little bit of motion here and how it affects, this number 11 here in terms of like who I've got, where we're going. It's well designed, and then well executed.
Yep, when you put 4 to a side and you're spraying everybody out, and then people are coming back across, it makes it really difficult to defend. But again, playing fast is also a mindset, man. It's like, this is the play, this is the read, this is where I'm going. I love the guys going to battle downfield, to try to get in and go get the score. That's a big deal.
Coach, I love this. Love watching Marcus. Can't wait to watch him today.
Yeah, we're ready to roll.
Always great to hear from Coach and Logan. We'll kick it with them in a minute, but first, let's take a look at more of our upcoming competition. It's time for a Competitive Edge brought to you by FanDuel. Like every moment more, we're FanDuel, an official partner of the Washington Commanders. Now let's take a look at some of the numbers from the Commanders and Lions Week 9 matchup. Our running back committee managed to rush for 157 yards against the league's #1 rushing defense. Now Washington's defense will face off against Jared Goff and the Detroit Lions, who are fresh off a Week 9 loss to a division rival in the Minnesota Vikings. Now the Commanders will be back at home in front of the best fans in the NFL for the 2nd week in a row before we head to Madrid. Now we gotta go to break, but be sure to stick around, Commanders family, because when we come back, Coach Logan and I will be counting down the kickoff and talking more about this Week 9 matchup. Before we go to break, we have to give congratulations to our Commanders Coaches of the Week. First up, Coach Clarence Martin from Wakefield High School out in Arlington, Virginia, and Coach Tierra Reeves from KIPP DC College Prep in Washington, DC. Nice work, coaches. Welcome back into the Game Plan with head coach Dan Quinn, sponsored by Salisbury University Seagulls, in support of alumnus Dan Quinn. It's time for your must-watch moment, presented by Marsh McLennan Agency. And our must-watch moment is defensive back Mikey Sanos' interception versus Sam Darnold. This interception was the 3rd of his season. Let's take a look at Mikey's 2025 season stats. 25 solo tackles, 41 total tackles, 7 pass deflected, and 3 interception, which is tied for 4th in the NFL. Good to see our guy continuing to make splash plays like he did his rookie year. Now it's time for our countdown to kickoff, presented by SeatGeek. The most disruptive idea in ticketing, a ticket that works. Expect the expected. SeatGeek. Coach, it's been a fun show, but in closing before tonight's game, we want to ask you what the message has been for these guys. We understand the gravity of this game. We understand how tough a team like Detroit is. We understand all the noise going around. What's been your message to these guys to keep them locked in?
Yeah, I told the team after practice, the external noise, that doesn't fix anything internal. And what internal is for us, it's the meetings, Most important part of our week, practice. That's where we get each other better, Brian. So like there's a number of things we need to do to get our football aligned exactly like we want to. And if you were just watching from the top down to see us, man, get these things fixed. Get that part looking like it's supposed to look. That's why we have a strong culture to lean in and practice hard against one another. And so that was the message. It was really about our football getting it aligned like we want to, but it all comes from inside, at practice, in our meetings. Like external noise, that doesn't solve anything that we want to get done.
Coach, we're excited to see our guys bounce back tonight. Thank you for your time. Commanders family, this has been The Game Plan with head coach Dan Quinn, Logan Paulsen. I'm your host, Bryan Colbert Jr., and we cannot wait to see y'all tonight at Northwest Stadium when we take on the Detroit Lions.
The Game Plan, sponsored by Salisbury University, was filmed at the Big Bear AI Command Center studio. Big Bear AI offers mission-ready AI for a rapidly evolving world, proudly protecting the Washington Commanders and its fans.